What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a video for you where I'm going to show you 5 teams that I think are worth your time to rebuild in Football Manager 2023. They are all going to be teams from the English Premier League, and we're going to have teams that are in crisis, teams that need rebuilding badly, teams that are a challenge, and we are going to make sure that if you're looking for inspiration for a brand new save when the new game comes out on November the 8th, we're going to have it right here. I think I've picked 5 of the best teams, 5 of the best challenges in the English Premier League. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump into this one and show you who the first team are. Let's kick off the list of 5 EPL teams that you should look to rebuild on FM23 with Liverpool. Before I jump in too much, I have to give a shout out to the Notorious Pro and FM23. They have built the database that you are going to see in this video. It brings us up to date in FM23. Basically, it's a database that has been advanced. It has all of the transfers in the real world up until the 2nd of September. It must have took a lot of work, and I'm so glad that they took the time to put it together. Really do appreciate all the hard work that has gone in. If you want to download it and try it for yourself, I will try and leave a link in the description down below. But let's get back to Liverpool. So you might have seen that they are a team in crisis. Yes, Liverpool have started the season poorly. Jurgen Klopp's men are not firing on all cylinders. It's been a bit of a funny one because we know Liverpool have the quality. However, they do have a few holes in the squad that were publicly discussed and maybe needed addressing in the transfer window. And that is where you come in, because you're going to inherit the team that needs to plug those gaps. We're going to start off, we're going to run through the club info page. We're then going to go to the finances, have a little look at the squad and explain exactly why you need to go out and sign players to rebuild Liverpool in FM23. So looking at the club info page, Liverpool are a team that need no introduction. They are a massive team and have been the closest to Manchester City in the Premier League across the last 3 or 4 years. Looking at their status, they are a professional team. Media prediction are finishing second. Estimated value of the club is $1 billion, owned by American John W. Henry. Champions League competition, 4.5-star reputation with 5-star training facility, 5-star youth facility, a 3.5-star youth recruitment. That might be a little bit harsh. They have bought some players through. They have players like Trent Alexander-Arnold. They've just bought Harvey Elliott and Fabio Carvalho that they have put straight into the first team. So maybe the youth recruitment isn't as bad as the game makes out, but still, that is a conversation for another video. Play at Anfield, obviously, 54,074 now is the capacity, so enough money being bought into the club via ticket sales. Nothing else really to add on this page. You can see that your captain will be Jordan Henderson, vice captain James Milner, key player Mo Salah, and Fabio Carvalho will be the hot prospect. If you have a little look at the finances page, you can see that you're going to start FM23 roughly with £128.5 million in the bank. Don't know if that's 100% accurate, but hopefully it will be. Transfer budget will be £68.4 million to invest in the playing squad. And the reason that you're going to need that kind of money is because if we hit the squad and have a little look at it, you can see that if we have a look through here, you've got Alisson, Keith Kelleher and Adrian as goalkeepers. So you're probably going to be okay for the first 2. Adrian will need replacing. You've then got Nat Phillips, Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate, Joel Matip, Joe Gomez as centre-backs. Fabinho is listed as a centre-back but plays more as a defensive midfielder. You've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kostas Tsimikas, Andrew Robertson as your wing-backs. And then this is where it gets a little bit shady because Artur is in the team. He's injured at the start of this database, but obviously when FM23 comes out, we know he's played game for Liverpool already, playing against Napoli from the bench, so he's not injured. But he was signed because Jordan Henderson is injured. Thiago was injured. Naby Keita is always injured. James Milner is getting on now at the age of 36, I believe he will be. You've got Ox, who's always injured. Curtis Jones has been out the team, another youth teamer that has progressed into the first team, not really clicked, even though he does come with a big reputation on this game. And then up top, you've got Luis Diaz, Roberto Firmino, Diogo Jota, Mo Salah, and Darwin Núñez. So a couple of wide players there in Diaz. Jota can play out wide. Mo Salah plays off of the right-hand side, cutting in. And then your forwards are obviously going to be Firmino and Núñez. Now, looking at this, Liverpool's squad literally fits onto one page. I'm not too sure if we was to look at Manchester City, that would be the case. Liverpool's squad is a little bit threadbare, and I think you need to go out and buy some reinforcements. That is what the name of the game is in the rebuild. I think Liverpool aren't a team really in crisis in real life. Jurgen Klopp will turn it around. I do think FSG need to pull their finger out and back the manager. But in Football Manager 23, you will have the opportunity to do that. I think Liverpool will be an interesting prospect, especially now Manchester City have Erling Haaland. Can you go and overturn Manchester City whilst managing Liverpool? The next club we are going to put forward as a candidate for a rebuild from the English Premier League is Aston Villa. They're a team that showed a lot of promise when they finished the last season. Steven Gerrard was building something, and he has been given a transfer window to try and put his stamp on the team. Obviously, he had success at Rangers. He has now come south of the border and has tried to get Aston Villa firing. Unfortunately, at the start of the season, Aston Villa really haven't been firing on all cylinders. They have been a little bit hit and miss in terms of their form. And I think Steven Gerrard is under a little bit of pressure from the get-go. They have invested heavily in the squad. Haven't really seen that much of a return on it. So let's go through the club page then. You can see they're professional. They are media prediction to finish 8th. They are not anywhere near achieving that at the current moment in the Premier League. They have a reputation of 3.5 stars. A little bit low. They are a previous Champions League winner, even though it was in the 80s. They have a 5-star training facility. They have a 4.5-star youth facility and a 3.5-star youth recruitment. I think that is also a little bit harsh. They have turned out some really good youth prospects in the past couple of years. They've just sold one of the best ones in Chukwuemeka to Chelsea. They also have players like Jacob Ramsey who are coming through, and they signed Kerr Smith, who is their hot prospect at the top there. So I think that they are getting the players through and developing them for the club. Looking at the players, you can see you'll start the season with Tyrone Mings as your captain. A little bit controversial because Steven Gerrard actually dropped him. There was a big fallout about that, but he has worked his way back into the team in recent weeks. John McGinn is the vice-captain. Your key player will be Felipe Coutinho. Obviously, a big outlay on the money they paid to Barcelona for him. And then Kerr Smith is the hot prospect. What will you be working with in terms of finances to improve the team? So you can see there is just £1.1 million in the bank. That is not correct. Because as you can see, there is £30 million in the transfer budget. Aston Villa are owned by quite wealthy owners. Obviously, the database isn't 100% correct because it's worked on by non-official sources. But, yeah, £1.1 million would see them in the bottom corner, failing to hit the Champions League FFP if they were to get there. But they are on course for the Premier League. So with 30 million in the bank, you can go out. I think, though, Steven Gerrard's players that he has bought in probably do deserve a chance to make good on the money they have spent. Looking at the squad then, you're going to start off with Martinez, Steer and Olsen as goalkeepers. No real problems there. Emi Martinez is a really good goalkeeper. Obviously played for Arsenal. Got let go of to go to Aston Villa. You got Diego Carlos, Ezri Konsa, Jan Bednarak, Tyrone Mings, Courtney House as your centre-backs. Matt Cash, Frederick Gilbert, and then they have just brought in Leander Dendoncker. He's a defender centre who can play as a defensive midfielder, but the other three there were wing-backs or left-backs. You've got Boubacar Kamara, who was a free transfer. He was chased by a lot of teams during the summer. Aston Villa got the signature, and I think that is a shrewd signing for a 21-year-old. He's going to be a big star. Was also a good player in FM22. They then have the elder statesman of the team, Ashley Young, Luca Digne. They've got Ludwig Augustinsson, Marvelous Nakamba, Douglas Luiz, who was subject to those bids on deadline day from Arsenal, John McGinn, Emi Buendia, who was a massive outlay in terms of his transfer fee. Not come good on that. I think there is some more to come from him. However, I did think that he was a brilliant player at Norwich. Not really done it at Villa. Got Morgan Sanson, Leon Bailey is turning into a very good player. Obviously, we knew a bit about him anyway. He's quick, pacey, but I think they've got a bargain in Leon Bailey. Felipe Coutinho is just Felipe Coutinho. And then up top, they have a few issues with Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings not firing on all cylinders in real life. Maybe you'd need to go out and improve your strike force. Your wingers, I think, are okay. That central midfield maybe needs beefing up with one or two players. They have some older players that probably need moving on. I think, though, if you step in, there'd be an interesting prospect because of what they've got in their youth system. I mean, they haven't got Jacob Ramsey on this page, but obviously he's a player that has been playing, and I think he's a future England international. But I think they're an interesting prospect. If you want to challenge early on in FM23, Aston Villa are a good team to go to. Next up on the list is a trip across Merseyside to Everton. Everybody knows Everton's woes in the past couple of seasons. They nearly got relegated last season, so in 21-22. They have started 22-23 in okay form, but Frank Lampard isn't really convincing me. They moved some big name players on, did reinvest some of the money in the squad, but I'm not 100% sure they have a great squad. Neil Maupay was an absolute steal. To get him from Brighton was a great coup, but we'll look at the squad in a second. Let's start off on the club info page. So you can see their media prediction is 11th. Their estimated value is £390 million. They have quite a wealthy owner, but they are pumping a lot of money into moving stadiums. That is going to happen in the near future, and I know they have committed a lot of money to it. Reputation is 3.5 stars. Training facility is 4.5 stars. Youth facility of 4.5 stars. And youth recruitment of 3.5 stars. Again, that is a little bit harsh. Everton always bring through brilliant youth team players. Tom Davies, Anthony Gordon now. I think they have a lot of players that are in their youth academy and their youth setup that they can bring through when they are ready. Maybe a little bit harsh to just have 3.5 there. But again, these are conversations for another day. Yeah, let's move on to the club finances then. So you can see Everton are another team that you're going to struggle with if these are the budgets for FM23. Obviously, we know the database is created by somebody who is not an official database for FM23, but it does state you will start off with £2 million in the bank and £12.8 million as a transfer budget. If that was in real life, you can see why players like Richarlison were moved on, and Everton really needed every penny that they could get to reinvest in the squad. Let's have a little look at the squad then and see what you'll be working with from the get-go. So they have two goalkeepers. They have Asmir Begovic and Jordan Pickford. Connor Cody has joined from Wolves on loan. Michael Keane, James Tarkowski, Mason Holgate, Yerry Mina. They then have Jared Branthwaite, who I think is going to be a really good player. Seamus Coleman. Nathan Patterson is their hot prospect. They then have Ben Godfrey. You have Ruben Vinagre. Vitaly Mikalenko. He's a very highly thought of left back. You have a lot of midfielders here. You have Allen, Tom Davis, James Garner, Abdoulaye Doucouré. Idrissa Gueye has just come back from PSG. You've got Alex Iwobi, who is a little bit lost, I think. His career when he was at Arsenal looked like it was going to be off into the stars. He's kind of took a step back. He now plays as a wing back or an attacking midfielder, whereas at Arsenal he was more of a winger, I think. You've got Andre Gomez out on loan. Andros Townsend is at the club. Dwight McNeil. Damari Gray, who is a brilliant player. I thought he was going to be another one that when he went to Leicester he was going to go off and have a fantastic career. Product of the Birmingham Youth Academy. But it all kind of come to a halt. He went out to Germany, to Leverkusen, I think. Kind of didn't take off there. He's come back, but he's a useful player for the squad. You've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Solomon Rondon, who is, I can't believe he's only 31. He'll be 32. Seems like he's been around forever. And then you've got Neil Maupay up top, like I said, has been a bit of a steal. So, a bit of a mishmash of a squad. They've got some older players, some younger players. Obviously, Anthony Gordon isn't in the first team in this database at the start, but you can promote him from the youth team. I think Everton have got a good blend of age and youth, and I think if Frank Lampard can stabilise the team, they're a team that will start to have building blocks. The only problem with Everton and the big challenge is going to be the finances. Until that new stadium is built down by the docks in Liverpool, they are going to struggle to invest in the first team. If you sign players, you are probably going to have to sell them on for big money just to get some spends for you to improve your squad. Everton could be a tough challenge in F23. Moving on then, we find ourselves next at Bournemouth, and this, for obvious reasons, is going to be one of the biggest challenges that is on this list. Bournemouth are a team that have been promoted in real life. They then didn't really spend as much money as those that got promoted with them. It led to Scott Parker getting thrashed by Liverpool 9-0. He was a little bit embarrassed, spoke out against the club, and then ultimately that cost him his job. It's going to be difficult. If you're going to take this challenge on, there is every likelihood you could get the sack if you do not invest money in the team. We'll get to the finances in just a second. Let's have a little look around this club info page. So it says media prediction is 4th. I'm not too sure where that has come from. They are in the Premier League. They're not predicted to finish 4th. I can tell you that now. That is obviously a glitch. They are more likely to be predicted to finish 20th. Estimated value of the club is £241 million. Their reputation is 3 stars. Their youth facilities are 2.5 stars. Their youth recruitment is half star. They have 3-star training facilities. So you can see straight away, if you take this challenge on, your long-term goals are going to be to improve all of the facilities of the club. It's obviously difficult. If you look at the picture of the Vitality Stadium, it's a small stadium in a smaller place where the fan base probably isn't there for them to expand massively. But if in game you can build a following and then you can expand the stadium, I think there is opportunity for investment there. Looking then at their key employees, so their club captain is Lloyd Kelly. They don't have a vice captain. They have Neto as a key player who's in a Barcelona shirt there. Strange recruitment. James Hill is their hot prospect. So let's have a look then at some of their finances. Okay, there was me thinking that they would be struggling, but obviously getting promoted into the Premier League. £55.5 million was available for Scott Parker to spend. Not too sure why he didn't go out and spend more money. I suppose he was trying to look for the right players at the right time. He would have been given £25.6 million according to this database. I know it's not always the most accurate when people who are not SI make databases, but if it was accurate and they got the money from the Premier League, it was obviously there for Scott Parker to spend. Looking at the squad then, this is probably going to be the weakest squad in the Premier League. We are seeing in real life they are struggling a little bit when it comes to competing at the highest level. So you're going to have Neto and Mark Travers in goal. Not too sure why Neto hasn't played in real life. Mark Travers has been the goalkeeper, I think, in the first couple of games. You've then got Marcos Senesi. He's a 24-year-old Argentinian centre-back. Chris Mepham. You've got Lloyd Kelly. Ryan Fredericks, I think, was a good pickup. I think he was a free transfer from West Ham, so he has Premier League experience. You've got Jack Stacey. Jack Stevens is on loan. You've got Adam Smith. Jordan Zamora, who I know they think a lot of at the club. He is a left-back who should be of a Premier League standard. And if he's not now, by the end of the season, I think he will be. You've got Ben Pearson. Philip Billing, who's been at the club for a little while now. Lewis Cook. Jefferson Lerma. Emiliano Marcondes. He is a Danish midfielder, attacking midfielder or striker, 26 years old. You've got Joe Rothwell, David Brooks, Junior Stanislas, who has been at the club for such a long time. You've got Jaden Anthony, Marcus Tavernier, Siriki Dembele. He's a 24-year-old attacking midfielder, right or left or striker from Scotland. You've got Ryan Christie, who has been at the club for a while. Jamal Lowe, Dominic Solanke, who at one point was at Liverpool, and he's a previous under-21 and I think full England international. And Kiefer Moore up top, who is 6'5" from Wales, who is the perfect target man. So looking at the squad, again, they have a mixture of youth and older players. Premier League experience is not something that a lot of these players have. You're probably going to go out and you're going to have to build experienced players who you can develop, and the key to the success of this one would probably be buy players young to sell on at a profit. Try and build up slowly but surely. In real life, Bournemouth are getting turned over by everybody, but if you can go out and buy the right players, I think there is a platform there to build upon. Bournemouth could be a very, very interesting, if not difficult, project in Football Manager 23. The final club on the list is neither a team in crisis or a team that you are going to struggle with. They are a team that simply intrigue me. They are Crystal Palace. Now, they have Patrick Vieira as their head coach. They also have Wilfried Zaha, who has been a staple at the club for so long now. I can't ever see him getting away. They have a mixture of older players with youth, and some of the youth are so exciting that I just think to myself, how are Crystal Palace a team that are not going to be pushing for the top half of the table sooner rather than later? Let's have a look at how you could probably make that happen. Starting off on the club info page, you can see their media prediction is 15th, but we know this database might be a little bit out. However, 15th for Crystal Palace, if that's all they want in the first season, you are going to be able to build upon that because they have all the resources and all the tools you're going to need. Their estimated value is £300 million. They have a reputation of 3.5 stars, training facilities of 3 stars, youth facilities of 4 stars, and youth recruitment of 1.5 stars. Looking at some of the key players, Luka Milojevic is the club captain. You've got vice captain of MacArthur. Key player is Edouard, and hot prospect is T. Adaramola, who is Irish. Yeah, I think Crystal Palace, looking at this club info page, are a team that, again, are going to need some investment, but you have a lot of tools that are already available to you at the start of the game. If you can use them wisely and put them into a formation, I think that they could be a really fun save. Looking at the finances then, they have £21.2 million in the bank and £25.6 million available. I know that this database is not an official SI database and we don't know what the budgets will be for FM23. But if you get anywhere near that kind of money, there are plenty of wonder kids you can go out and sign, or plenty of experienced players in the Premier League to add to this squad that you can spend the £25.6 million on. Let's have a look at this squad then and see why they are so exciting. They have a decent squad for what they achieve in the Premier League. So they start off with Gaeta in goal, Johnston, Butland and Remy Matthews, who is out on loan. You've then got James Tompkins, who is an older defender who is more experienced. You've got Joachim Anderson, who is a bit of a wind-up merchant but a solid centre-back until he gets tapped by Darwin Núñez. You've got Nathan Ferguson, Chris Richards, Joel Ward, again another experienced player who is helping those youth prospects come through. Nathaniel Klein, Tariq Mitchell, Jeffrey Schlupp, Jairo Riedewald. You've got James MacArthur, you've got Czech Toure. Will Hughes is another one who seems to have been around forever. He's ever young, 26 years old. Luka Milojevic is a defensive midfielder, 30 years old. He's another player who is experienced, takes a brilliant penalty. You got Wilfried Zaha, as I said. He's the player who I think will drag this club forward for years to come. Still only 28. Plenty of football left in him. I can't see him escaping Crystal Palace at this point. So he's the one that you want to build your team around. You've got Eber Eze. He's another hot prospect, 23 years old, English. Michael Elise. He is 19 years old, French, an attacking midfielder with good feet, quick and dynamic. Jordan Ayew is the elder statesman up top, 29 years old. Again, he's another one that seems to have been around forever and a day. You've got Odsonne Edouard, 23 years old. And then Jean-Philippe Mateta up top. And this too, as a combination, could be deadly. If you look at them, they're 6'4" and 6'2", both quick, both young, both have an eye for goal. As I said, this squad just needs 1 or 2 finishing touches added to it. And I think they could be challenging top 6 very, very soon. If you get in there and you buy the right players, you can mould this team exactly how you want. I think Crystal Palace will be a fun challenge for anybody in FM23. Go and rebuild Crystal Palace. Show me what you can do. There you go then. Those are 5 teams that I think probably need a rebuild in the EPL in FM23. Looking at the clubs as a whole, you've got Liverpool, who are a club in crisis in real life. I'm not too sure they need too much of a rebuild in Football Manager 23, but it's always a good option when you've got a team that probably has holes in their squad to go out and see what you can do. The other ones, though, you've got Aston Villa, you've got Everton, you've got Crystal Palace, and you've got Bournemouth. They are all interesting prospects. Bournemouth obviously is going to be the most difficult. Crystal Palace will probably be the most fun. And then you've got Aston Villa, who are a team that are going to be okay if you can sign the right players. I think Steven Gerrard might have a problem in real life, but he just needs time. And if he can get them firing, I think Villa have a decent enough squad to move out of the slump that they are in. So those are the 5 teams. Those are my reasons for you to spend your time rebuilding those teams. This is going to be a good challenge in FM23, watching all of the teams get rebuilt. I think it's an exciting part of the Football Manager journey when you take over a club that looks like they are in a bit of crisis and you manage to get them out of the other end of it. Right then, I'm going to start wrapping this video up here. If you're still at this point of the video, firstly, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel so much, and I appreciate every single person who takes the time out of their day to help the channel out by just interacting with the channel. Before you go check something else out on the channel. We have other videos including Wonder Kids, tactics, there's Let's Plays, tutorials. There's a bit of something for everybody. If you find a video you like, don't forget to hit the like button on that video. Leave me a comment to say I found something else that I like on the channel. But for this one, I'm going to leave it there. Big thank you for watching.